coordinating committee. She is famous for the lines, "I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired." This has led me to various forms of advocacy throughout my career in education. Born and raised in Charleston, South Carolina, Septima Poinsett Clark was an educator and civil rights activist. As we end Black History Month 2019, it is only fitting that I begin by honoring a Charlestonian, an educator, a hero. My advocacy begins here. Black history, Charleston history, slipped into this presentation about teacher advocacy. Born and raised in Mount Pleasant and attending public schools K through 12, my journey as a teacher advocate stems from my lived experiences. Advocacy, the act or process of supporting a cause or proposal. Who should advocate? Why? Today I want to share a little bit about my journey in advocating for students. In my free time, I love to travel. I've had the pleasure of visiting the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial in DC 3 times. I think of my advocacy as a birthright. Sharing a birthday with Martin Luther King Jr., I feel this connection to his legacy. While many of us are familiar with the first part of this quote, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere," I would like to focus on the last part. Whatever affects one directly affects us all indirectly. A minimally adequate education affects us all, whether it be directly or indirectly, economically, socially, or politically. We are all affected by South Carolina's state constitution and its legislative actions. I've been able to advocate for students in a variety of ways, but I've also formed a baseline for why. By attending school board meetings, attending meetings when new superintendents or policies are proposed, PTA and SIC meetings, and participating in community-based organizations advocating for education, I've been able to see and follow what's happening and not just make assumptions. From there, I can make decisions and implementations in my grassroots way. Many of you are familiar with the starfish story. Every action, no matter how small, can make a difference. Here are some of my versions. The last 3 years, I've had the pleasure of leading a group called Lang Leaders for Tomorrow. Helping to close the achievement gap in whatever way I can has always been a part of the work that I do. Having worked in suburban schools for 16 years, this passion helped me to evolve as an educator and support students in a variety of ways. I advocated by talking with the administration, providing real-world solutions, and unselfishly giving of my time to support the work. I was a Lang leader, well, more of a Moultrie patriot and a Wando warrior, but I saw myself in the students that I serve. As Lang leaders evolved, I talked to the administration and spoke with colleagues at neighboring schools about how we could work together to continue the work of closing the achievement gap east of the Cooper. The East Cooper Task Force was born, and collectively, we worked together to advocate for underrepresented students in Mount Pleasant. Now, individual schools were coming together, collaborating for the sake of secondary students east of the Cooper. Before working with other schools or even leading a school-wide redesign effort on increasing the number of underrepresented students in honors and advanced classes, I worked with students in every school I've had the pleasure of teaching as a club sponsor. This form of advocacy directly with students was always an intriguing part of my journey as an educator. When students at Wando High School came to me and asked me to be the sponsor of a club called SANE, Students Advocating Multicultural Education, I eagerly accepted. Having just finished a stint as women's head track and field coach, I needed something to redirect my energy and effort. SANE started at Academic Magnet High School, and students there encouraged more chapters at other Charleston County schools. Student voice became a high priority of mine, which was yet another form of advocacy that all teachers can promote and be a part of. My advocacy grew and blossomed when I entered the MTLA, Masters of Teaching, Learning, and Advocacy program at the College of Charleston. Having a basis for why we do the work and how our ground level influence is perceived by all stakeholders was important for me and fit my ideas in a master's program. Having finished the MTLA program, I saw more opportunity for my class and school level advocacy. That eventually led me back to school for an administrative degree. While I know I was making inroads in providing support for students, building safe spaces, and creating diversity and inclusion conversations, doing it from the physical education classroom was limiting. My journey has led me beyond the classroom, but my passion lies with the students. As I continue this journey as an educator, I cannot forget those that have mentored me and kept me on the right path. My village. There are way too many to name. Most are still a part of my life today. As a teacher, an educator, and an advocate, I remind you of the starfish story. We can all make a difference. Our students are better than minimally adequate. They have a village. So I ask you, how will you affect one directly or all indirectly?